How would you know? Constantine and Francis from Triggernometry are rolling out big-time defense for that piece of crap of an interview they did with Netanyahu, going after everyone for exposing their disgust over that fraud that those two crooks even have the courage to call, you would have guessed, journalism. But to me, and I do believe to a whole lot of people, that did feel more like PR for a genocidal maniac. They claim that they pushed and challenged Netanyahu harder than anyone else. First of all, Netanyahu does not sit down with just anyone else. He doesn't sit down with people who might expose him. He sits down with people who play it safe, who won't go off script. Douglas Murray, PBD, the Nelt Boys, Triggernometry. Those are not guard dogs. These people are lap dogs. Constantine and Francis say that they ask the tough questions that expose and get to the truth. But they know very well that tough questions mean nothing without submitting the answers to scrutiny and pushing back when required. Journalism isn't just checking boxes like I have asked that question, checked. Real journalism is like a courtroom trial. You gather your evidence, your facts, then you challenge. You make the lies or the truth come to light. Then you let the audience decide by themselves if it makes sense or not. And those two guys didn't do that either. When Netanyahu dodged, they let him. When he twisted and turned, they nodded. And when he made claims, they smiled and moved on. That's not calling out power. That's not exposing anyone. They carried him on their shoulders. And by doing that, and refusing to do that basic pushback and fact check, it basically means they agreed with everything Netanyahu said. Let's be honest here. Your hard questions were nothing less than soft thoughts. Is Gaza starving? Is there famine in Gaza? Are you indiscriminately bombing civilians? Do you target journalists? These are mainstream questions. I mean, he might have practiced those questions at least 1,000 times. Like a script, just like a seasoned actor. You guys didn't test him. You just polished his answers and like a mirror reflected and amplified his lies. Do you want to know what real pushback looks like? If you ask, is there famine in Gaza? Any real journalist would potentially follow up with the UN, aid groups, even satellite imagery show hunger, blocked aid, destroyed crops. Here's the proof. Explain. If you ask, do you target civilians? Any real journalist follow-up could be hospitals, schools, refugee camps, bombed, destroyed, all documented and verified. If not on purpose, why so often? Explain it. If you ask, do you target journalists? Again, any journalist could follow up with 278 journalists killed, strike patterns, names, dates, locations, survivors' testimonies. Explain it. I mean, you guys claim to be journalists, and you did not even ask a question about more than 278 of your colleagues, journalists, butchered, or why no international journalist is allowed in Gaza. That's crazy. That's criminal. And that's the difference between corrupt, bought journalists and real journalists. You heard me? That's the difference between one corrupt and bought journalist and two real journalists. Well, you choose to be the first and you try to sell us the second. Maybe thinking that you guys are smart and that we are stupid. But the thing is, you're not that smart. And unfortunately for you guys, we are not that stupid or gullible either. And when people called you out, you didn't answer the facts or the substance. You act outraged and you went after your critics. Crystal Ball, Saga from Breaking Point, and even attacked the subscribers. You scold the audience for noticing the obvious. It's like you first insult our collective intelligence by feeding us that shit sandwich of an interview. Then you try to insult our intelligence yet again when we all tell you that it tasted like shit. I mean, the entitlement and nerve on those two egotistic dudes is on another level, guys. Now, let's talk a little bit about their motivation. We know that being close to power pays, and that this kind of controversial guest brings clicks. Clicks brings views, and obviously, views brings money. And this is without even talking about the bag they must have received from that war criminal himself. And then you start to understand why they couldn't drop the bag by pushing him hard. So they didn't, and rather proceeded to kneel down and lick his behind like a paint job and call it journalism. That's what fake and corrupt journalists do. Hold the mic like if it's a decoration and then brag, "We got access. We have Prime Minister Netanyahu on the set." As if access equals truth, equals integrity, or legit journalism. But you know, as well as I know, that the only one pulling the strings during that interview was the Master Minister of Genocide himself. And like Malcolm X said in his speech years ago, and still relevant today,
I know you don't like what I'm saying, but I'm going to tell you anyway, because I can prove what I'm saying. No, it was a sellout. It was a takeover. When James Baldwin came in from Paris, they wouldn't let him talk because they couldn't make him go by the script. Burt Lancaster wrote the speech that Baldwin was supposed to make. They wouldn't let Baldwin get up there because they know Baldwin liable to say anything. They controlled it so tight, they told those Negroes what time to hit town, how to come, where to stop, what sign to carry, what song to sing, what speech they could make and what speech they couldn't make, and then told them to get out of town by sundown. And every one of those Toms were out of town by sundown. Now I know you don't like my saying this, but I can back it up. It was a circus, a performance. It beat anything Hollywood could ever do.
you know it is you he's talking about. Yeah, you. And if you don't know, now you know, suckers. On the other side, we have the real journalists. They have no handlers, no rehearsed lines, just proof, videos, maps, names, and most of all, their integrity. They cut through the spin right away, demand answers, keep the victim's story in the frame, and won't let them get cut out. That chair in your studio, that representation was empty. You kept it sanitized, so fresh and so clean for your master minister of genocide. And then to attack your critics, your favorite tricks, projection, diversion, and distraction. Look over here, look over there, to another war, to another leader, to another one of your interviews. That's not context, that's cover. This conflict isn't like many others. It's been fueled by a brutal, decades-long occupation, a systemic oppression, people displaced, homes destroyed, generations stolen. And we are the one who don't understand. We are the one who are not asking why. We are the one who are not probing history. What the hell are you guys even talking about here? I just refuse to believe that you guys don't know what's at stake here, apart from your cliques and your payouts. You know about the 70 plus years of occupation, exile, blockades, broken homes, men, women, and child crushed under the rubbles, being genocide in broad daylight. So you can dress your shit up however you want to dress it up. You can even try to dress up the truth however you want to dress it. But don't act outraged when we are calling out your hypocrisy and your complicity. So here's my take. You didn't interview Netanyahu. You gave him a stage. You didn't challenge his story. You carried it. You didn't test his words. You rehearsed them with him. And when called out, you didn't defend your work or your performance. You attacked the crowd. Fool us once, that's on you. Fool us twice, that's on us. But let me tell you this, nobody, but nobody is falling for it. Not then, not now. You heard? Not then, not now.